Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Skull podcast. I'm your host, John Scott, joined as always by my co-host, Matt Essex. Matt, how are you doing this week, and have you been up to much?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thanks. And not much going on, but there's always a lot going on in the world of wrestling, so, good thing we're here to talk a bit about that then.
There most certainly is, as always. We'll be going through the last 7-8 days worth of wrestling news for sure. We'll get that covered. But listen, straight off the bat, I think we've got to get it out there straight away because this is going to be tonight. And if you're joining us live, fantastic. If you might be listening in the week, I know a lot of you guys download us and you'll listen to us on the way to work or whatever you're doing on your travels. As always, I get lots of emails of people telling me whereabouts they go, if it's a plane journey, sometimes even. We've even had people on boats listen to about 20 of our podcasts in a row. So I've had lots of emails like that. But wherever you are when you're listening to this, this is the finale show of the Wrestling Skull podcast. This is going to be our last show under that umbrella. But don't worry, folks. Myself and Matt, we are still going to be producing a wrestling podcast under a different banner, which is going to be under the name WrestleLine. And basically anything that we've already got up, things set up like Facebook and all the rest of it, and our other social, if you get us on Spreaker, basically all that is going to be kind of converted into the new WrestleLine umbrella. So we're going to go a different route. We've decided, it's what we've been going. I'm trying to think. We're just coming up. This June would have made it 3 years. So we've gone about good 2 years and 10 months in all that time, and it's been a really decent run. Basically, the reasoning for this is that we've had a really good offer from iHeart, who have been really, really good, and I've for a long time now suggested a new format to the podcast, and basically just to give it a completely new revamp altogether, we're gonna go under a different title, because obviously the Wrestling Skull podcast is its own thing. We do the interviews, we do the the Magnificent Sevens, we've done the King of the Ring retrospectives, and of course you're always looking, engaging at what the audience appeal is, what people listen to the most. And for a long time now, I've had many variety of different people, all different ages, enjoy a lot of the stuff we cover when we go back in the past. I mean, they are the most listened to podcasts. They even, in the long run, they actually we get more hits on them than we do even the big WrestleMania, which is a huge number. But overall, through the years, they are the most listened to podcast. Is more the old retrospective stuff. So myself and Matt, we've decided we're going to give you guys an even better show. I think that even if you're maybe not familiar with going back, I think you'll find it interesting. We're going to literally be doing timelines on wrestlers, or just different personas, feuds, angles, events. And we're going to be filling it jam-packed with so much information, even things that you probably wouldn't have heard too much about. And we're going to cover it in episodes that are going to be kind of like timeless episodes in a lot of way. And we're going to be doing different themes. So we will be back at the very start of June, basically. We're going to be back then. Again, if you want to find us, literally go find us on Facebook. Just you can hit us up. I mean, you probably won't get us this week, but maybe a couple of weeks' time you can hit us up, and all you've literally got to type in is WrestleLine into your Facebook, and our page will be there. I'm sure you'll know it's us. We will have myself, John Scott, and Matt Essex's name all over it, so you'll know it's us. But if you are already, if you've already liked our Facebook page on the Wrestling Skull podcast page, don't worry, stay on it, because that is literally going to fold into one. So you'll be at the right place at the end of it anyway, and you won't miss any upcoming news. So I felt like we had to get that out of the way. Obviously, this is the last show, so we're going to we're going to take your questions. If you want to email us in tonight live, feel free. Hit us up at the Wrestling Skull Podcast at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, especially for our more regular listeners. And, we hope you guys have enjoyed what we've done. And I think you're going to enjoy what we're about to do as well. It's exciting times for us on in the podcast world at the moment from myself and Matt. But, get that out of the way. I think I don't really have to speak for Matt on this one, but I know he's had a blast as well, haven't you, Matt, doing the Wrestling Skull podcast when you came on board a couple of years ago now, in fact.
Yeah, so much fun doing this, and it's been great week in, week out. Never really wanted to miss any of the shows. Of course, sometimes unfortunate things did happen, but every time we could get one out there, it's been a hell of a journey and a lot of fun.
Yeah, to be fair, Matt, you've done a pretty good job. I mean, we've had some really nightmarish times with the internet. With things like Skype, and at one time I remember we started recording a podcast, and I realised we wasn't recording, or the mic button wasn't on, and I think we'd been going for about 4 or 5 minutes. I started getting loads of emails like, "Where are you? I can't hear anything. It's dead air." And yeah, that's happened a few times. We've had some real kind of crazy glitches, but it's all part and parcel of the fun of doing these podcasts live, and it's kind of one of those things where you learn. But I've enjoyed it. I've got to be honest. I'd say, considering I'm coming up to 3 years, when I think about it, it's quite a long time, and we literally. We never miss a week. That's the one thing I will say. So when Matt says he hasn't, he's missed like a couple, that's not many in the big scheme of things, because literally we have run this stuff. We go over all the holiday periods. There's no off season for us. We're like the WWE in that sense. We just keep going. We've gone for a long time. Of course, loads and loads of reviews. And of course interviews. I guess I want to thank all the guests that come on, all the people that came on my podcast for interviews and whatnot, and of course mainly all the listeners. Obviously a massive thank you for making this what it is, and if it wasn't for you guys listening, we wouldn't have had the opportunity with iHeart. I've got to make that really, really apparent, so thank you. And don't forget, if you have subscribed to us on Spreaker, or you're with us on Podcast Addict or iTunes, leave it on there if you want, because it's just literally going to be transitioned into WrestleLine. So you haven't got to go and look for us anywhere else. But we are going to be away for just 1 month, which is going to be after this. But it's only a month, guys. We will be back, and we're going to be back with some great stuff. So, and also, I've got to say, again, through iHeart, we're going to have some great new features added to what we're going to have to offer. We're going to have a bit more merchandise, which is something I tried to get going with the Wrestling Skull podcast, but it was very difficult at times to get that sorted and what route we would go with it. But finally, I feel like we've got somebody who's really going to take a big interest in us and get us to the right place. So without further ado, let's get here while we're all here, while we listen on a regular basis. Let's get straight into it, because we have got some news, and of course, coming out of last week, Matt, I've got a lot of emails on this, and I've got to say, I had a lot of emails from the likes of India that Jinder Mahal, Matt, looks like he's got a push, but it's to a lot of people's surprise, Matt. I mean, because a lot of emails flooding in this week, like, where's that come from? How did that happen? What deal did he do to get that? How do you think all that's come about suddenly, Matt? And was you surprised that Jinder won that match and is now essentially, a main event guy, even if it's just maybe for this turn? But he's not exactly. He's not had the whole transition into this. He's just in that slot. What did you make of that, Matt?
Well, it definitely came out of nowhere, this kind of move. I know he's come a long way since the three-man band. I mean, looking at his physique now, he's definitely put some time in that gym, and he's definitely got the look now. I would have thought they would have been a little bit more cautious around the guy, though, considering he's been credited for the injury that Balor sustained not too long ago. I thought that might have played into a little bit of a punishment for him at some points, but it looks like quite the opposite now, isn't he? He got the move to SmackDown, and he's been quite well rewarded now with a title shot. And even if you don't win it, that is a hell of a spot to be in now, to actually just to have reached the top like that. I wouldn't say I'd be betting any money on him actually winning the title.
Sure.
But you know, it's interesting to see now that they are willing to step outside the comfort zone and look at other people outside of the main event picture and see if there's anything there. Even the match that they was in for the number one contendership there was a lot of people in there in the same position. We had Luke Harper in the match, then we had Sami Zayn in the match, and you know, even though Dolph Ziggler was not too long ago in the title picture, he's another one that's been sort of left behind in the dust.
Sure.
So it's very interesting to see that they are looking now, and even if it is just a one-off kind of thing, he has an opportunity to shine in that one now match that he will get against Randy Orton.
Yeah, I mean, it depends where you're looking at, but a lot of people, a lot of sites have been speculating that part of the Jinder Mahal's push here, all of a sudden, is down to marketing research that they've put out there to the people. And also, of course, he's a massive draw. Of course, if you are trying to flood the market in places like India, you know, he's going to be your guy. And, you know, his popularity is definitely there. I mean, I can tell that with just through the amount of emails I've got this week. So it was a bit like Carly in a sense. I mean, obviously, these people... you know, we might not see it ourselves, but they're juggernauts in their own country in a lot of ways, you know, and to have that exposure there is going to be quite a big thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. The only thing I'll say is that I wish WWE had have used Jinder at WrestleMania a little bit more wisely. I mean, I'm not. You know, that Battle Royal, you know, should he have been the one winning that now? Or could he have done something with the football player himself to get him some heat for this? Because the interesting thing, Matt, is he, of course, the week before, he lost in a match. That's, you know, and it wasn't exactly looking great for the guy. Now he's, he's the number one contender. So it does seem like it's come out of nowhere, but... also had another email from one of our regular listeners here, Jimbo, and he said he compares this, Matt, to when Bradshaw become JBL and overnight just become a main event guy. It just seemed to come out of nowhere. There was no real transition, and when I actually went back on it, it was kind of like that, because 1 minute he was with Ron Simmons, and then he kind of turned his back on him, and then the next minute he'd done the whole JBL character, and he was... you know, essentially considered from there on in a main event guy, and it's. I'm not saying they're in anywhere, you know, the same kind of persona. And Bradshaw had a long stint in WWE before that, but in terms of how they've done it, I guess this is the time of the year where WWE will take chances with things like this. A little bit more. They can be a little bit more freer because, you know, you've just come off the back of WrestleMania, so you can give these guys, you know, and see what they do with it. Do I think he's going to win the title? You know, I know Matt doesn't think, you know, he wasn't strong enough, but I just got a feeling that if they, I think they're going to be looking very closely in the next couple of, you know, see how it goes, and then see what kind of reaction it's gauging and where they go with him. Personally, I think they've got to do a bit more of his character than just the old tried and tested stuff that you normally get from a kind of foreign wrestler. Like, I want to see a bit more creatively there. But you never know. I mean, he's definitely got the look now. You know, I've got to say, if you'd have told me that Jinder Mahal, 7-8 months ago would come back to WWE and be a main event guy, I would have laughed. You know, it just was you know, well out of the... It's a bit like Drew McIntyre returning in a way, but this is even bigger than that. You know, a member of the three-man band, couldn't do anything, jobbing for everybody, and now this. So, you know, it goes to show you, you never know, and going away from WWE is perhaps not the worst thing anymore, Matt. And, you know, a lot of these guys that have done that, i.e. Cody Rhodes and that, maybe they did have some sense, because I guess your stock could go up ultimately at the end, and then, you know,